What a sight to behold. It's currently September 2023. Tesla, with a market cap of under $800 billion, with the company clearly on the cusp of running away with autonomy, already having an unassailable lead and now demonstrating a huge rewrite of the software, having completely removed all apparent obstacles between now and superhuman capability, the data flywheel fully in effect, a load of new training compute coming online, and Tesla's market cap still under $800 billion. Over the past 12 months, Tesla stock has gone approximately nowhere. In fact, less than nowhere. It's down almost 20%. And since its all-time high closing price, off almost 40%. In that time, Tesla's continued to scale up production, continue innovating, collecting data, and further extending their already unassailable lead. But investors, at least in my opinion, seem to be more interested in waiting until after the fact, as opposed to identifying the opportunity ahead of time. Doesn't matter how many clues, how many insights appear, I think most investors are currently asleep at the wheel. And I strongly believe that most investors will deeply regret this a few years from now. Of course, I could be wrong, but when I'm not, I will be here to remind you that I repeated myself literally thousands of times in a row, day after day after day after day, screaming from the rooftops, trying my best to alert people to the opportunity. I kind of feel like a scientist who's identified an extinction-level asteroid headed for Earth, trying to raise the alarm, and everyone's like, shut the fuck up, bro. What do you mean? I can't see anything. So today we have some more insights from Walter Isaacson. Stunning, extremely compelling insights around FSD, Tesla's rate of progress, and why no one is catching up. But of course, institutional investors, most retail investors, and pretty much every single person in the mainstream finance media will ignore this to their own chagrin. Another day, another promo for Walter Isaacson's forthcoming Elon Musk biography with some juicy new insights. Let's read on. How Elon Musk set Tesla on a new course for self-driving. On a Friday in late August of this year, Elon Musk got into his Model S at Tesla headquarters in Palo Alto, selected a random spot on his navigation screen, and let the car drive itself using its full self-driving technology. For 45 minutes while listening to Mozart, he live-streamed his trip, including a pass by the home of Mark Zuckerberg, at least allegedly Mark's home, whom he had been jokingly challenging to a cage match fight. Quote, perhaps I should knock on the door and make a polite inquiry of whether he would like to engage in hand-to-hand combat, he said with a laugh before letting the car drive on. Musk had used FSD hundreds of times before, but this drive was profoundly different, and not just because it was much smoother and more reliable. Now hang on a second. I am currently reading from CNBS, and this article accurately points out that FSD V12 is profoundly different. Do I need to take back my mocking and ridiculing of the mainstream finance media because they just don't get it? Oh wait, no I don't, because this is actually a guest piece by Walter Isaacson on CNBS. That makes more sense. For a minute there I was a bit concerned that finance media were finally starting to get it. The new version he was using, FSD 12, was based on a radical new concept that he believes will not only totally transform autonomous vehicles, but also be a quantum leap toward artificial general intelligence. For what it's worth, I suspect he's right, and I think people are going to look back at this moment a few years from now, maybe a decade, and go, geez, it was kind of obvious, wasn't it? That can operate in physical, real-world situations. Instead of being based on hundreds of thousands of lines of code, like all previous versions of self-driving software, this new system had taught itself how to drive by processing billions of frames of video of how humans do it, just like the new large language model chatbots train themselves to generate answers by processing billions of words of human text. Amazingly, Musk had set Tesla on this fundamentally new approach just 8 months earlier. Now this is massively insightful. Quote, it's like ChatGPT, but for cars. Deval Shroff, a young member of Tesla's Autopilot team, explained to Musk in a meeting in December. He was comparing the idea they were working on to the chatbot that had just been released by OpenAI, the lab that Musk co-founded in 2015. Quote, we process an enormous amount of data on how real human drivers acted in a complex driving situation, said Shroff. And then we train a computer's neural network to mimic that. Until then, Tesla's autopilot system had been relying on a rules-based approach. The car's cameras identified such things as lane markings, pedestrians, vehicles, signs, and traffic signals. Then the software applied a set of rules, such as stop when the light is red, go when it's green, stay in the middle of the lane markers, proceed through an intersection only when there are no cars coming fast enough to hit you, and so on. Tesla's engineers manually wrote and updated hundreds of thousands of lines of C++ code to apply these rules to complex situations. The neural network planner that Shroff and others were working on took a different approach. Instead of determining the proper path of the car based on rules, Shroff says, we determine the car's proper path by relying on a neural network that learns from millions of examples of what humans have done. In other words, it's human imitation, which again is exactly what large language models, e.g. ChatGPT, are doing. They're not being taught explicitly the rules of grammar, English, punctuation. They're not learning any of this stuff explicitly. It's just from examples of text written by humans with enough data in, enough training compute, get the emergent properties in the case of large language models of being able to compose really incredible text almost instantaneously. And in the case of Tesla's FSD V12, loads of video in, sufficient training compute, and out emerges the ability to competently drive a vehicle without the hundreds of thousands of lines of manual code. This really is a paradigm shift. And we just heard it was only 8 months ago that this change happened, from hundreds of thousands of lines of rules-based code to end-to-end training just on video. And I guarantee you, this would not have happened if Tesla did not have an enormous amount of data to train on. The speed with which they've done a 180 almost is stunning. But without that data, it would not have happened. So an important question to once again ask yourselves is, are there any other companies on Earth who have even close to the amount of data Tesla currently has? The answer is no. The next question would be, are there any other companies on the planet who could, in theory, acquire as much data as Tesla currently has? The answer is no. Not unless they can somehow put millions of vehicles on roads at a cost of hundreds of billions of dollars covered in sensors to collect data. And even if there was a company right now that wanted to do this, the only way I could see this happening is a tech company, going to a traditional automotive manufacturer who, by the way, will be bankrupt soon because no one's buying ICE vehicles. A traditional automotive manufacturer who are already winning electric vehicles. Oh, wait, there aren't any. Oh, that's awkward. Well, in theory, they would need to find a traditional automotive manufacturer who are already making millions upon millions of electric vehicles, then pay to put sensors on those vehicles in some kind of collaboration to start collecting data. But the problem is, that's just not a realistic scenario. And again, what would really need to happen is that a company would need to pay Tesla for access to the data. But why would Tesla do that when instead Tesla can just charge for access to FSD in the future, which, spoiler alert, is exactly what's going to happen. You can count on it. Again, to the point regarding data. The neural network learns from millions of examples of what humans have done. No one else has the millions of examples of what humans have done. They can't train their own software. They won't be able to match Tesla's capabilities. Faced with a situation, the neural network chooses a path based on what humans have done in thousands of similar situations. It's like the way humans learn to speak and drive and play chess and eat spaghetti and do almost everything else. We might be given a set of rules to follow, but mainly we pick up the skills by observing how other people do them. It was the approach to machine learning envisioned by Alan Turing in his 1950 paper, Computing, Machinery and Intelligence, and which exploded into public view a year ago with the release of ChatGPT. By early 2023, the Neural Network Planner project had analysed 10 million clips of video collected from the cars of Tesla customers. Did that mean it would merely be as good as the average of human drivers? Quote, no, because we only use data from humans when they handled a situation well, Schroef explained. Human labellers, many of them based in Buffalo, New York, assessed the videos and gave them grades. Musk told them to look for things, quote, a 5-star Uber driver would do, and those were the videos used to train the computer. Musk regularly walked through the autopilot workspace in Palo Alto and knelt next to the engineers for impromptu discussions. As he studied the new human imitation approach, he had a question. Was it truly needed? Might it be a bit of overkill? One of his maxims was that you should never use a cruise missile to kill a fly, just use a fly swatter. Was using a neural network unnecessarily complicated? Schroef showed Musk instances where a neural network planner would work better than a rules-based approach. The demo had a road littered with trash cans, fallen traffic cones, and random debris. A car guided by the neural network planner was able to skitter around the obstacles, crossing the lane lines and breaking some rules as necessary. Quote, here's what happens when we move from rules-based to network path-based, Schroef told him. Quote, the car will never get into a collision if you turn this thing on, even in unstructured environments. It was the type of leap into the future that excited Musk. Quote, we should do a James Bond style demonstration, he said, quote, where there are bombs exploding on all sides and a UFO is falling from the sky while the car speeds through without hitting anything. Machine learning systems generally need a metric that guides them as they train themselves. Musk, who liked to manage by decreeing what metric should be paramount, gave them a lodestar. The number of miles that cars with FSD were able to travel without a human intervening. Quote, I want the latest data on miles per intervention to be the starting slide of each of our meetings, he decreed. He told them to make it like a video game where they could see their score every day. Quote, video games without a score are boring, so it will be motivating to watch each day as the miles per intervention increases. Members of the team installed massive 85-inch television monitors in their workspace that displayed in real time how many miles the FSD cars were driving on average without interventions. They put a gong near their desks, and whenever they successfully solved a problem causing an intervention, they got to bang the gong. By mid-April 2023, it was time for Musk to try the new neural network planner. He sat in the driver's seat next to Ashok Elaswamy, Tesla's director of autopilot software. 3 members of the autopilot team got in the back. As they prepared to leave the parking lot at Tesla's Palo Alto office complex, Musk selected a location on the map for the car to go to and took his hands off the wheel. When the car turned onto the main road, the first scary challenge arose. A bicyclist was heading their way. On its own, the car yielded just as a human would have done. For 25 minutes, the car drove on fast roads and neighbourhood streets, handling complex turns and avoiding cyclists, pedestrians and pets. Musk never touched the wheel. Only a couple of times did he intervene by tapping the accelerator when he thought the car was being overly cautious, such as when it was too deferential at a 4-way stop sign. At one point, the car conducted a manoeuvre that he thought was better than he would have done. "Oh wow," he said. "Even my human neural network failed here, but the car did the right thing." He was so pleased that he started whistling Mozart's A Little Night Music, Serenade in G Major. "Amazing work, guys," Musk said at the end. "This is really impressive." They all then went to the weekly meeting of the autopilot team, where 20 guys, almost all in black t-shirts, sat around a conference table to hear the verdict. Many had not believed that the neural network project would work. Musk declared that he was now a believer, and they should move their resources to push it forward. So I just have to jump in here. Over the long term, I expected end-to-end pure video would be the solution. I mean, Tesla themselves flagged and signaled that this was their intent as well a few years ago. However, I didn't expect it would happen so soon. I thought Tesla would have to brute force their way with a bunch of heuristics, lines of code, a rules-based approach, get good enough, and then eventually, over time, they could rewrite the entire thing when they had enough data and enough training compute to make it work. So the key lesson, the fact that in about 8 months, this has gone from an idea to, by my eye, as competent and capable as their existing solution, tells us 2 critically important things. Tesla already has enough data to match the capabilities of their rules-based FSD and enough training compute to, keywords there, do the training. I didn't think that either of these things would be the case. I didn't think this was true. This is why I expected it would be years before Tesla went end-to-end. But it turns out they have enough data and now enough compute. And this is before Tesla recently turned on an utter fuck ton of new GPUs for training. So if Tesla already has enough data and they've just turned on an enormous amount of training compute and more to come, if they're looking at 100 exaflops of training compute by the end of next year, and they'll probably put another 2 million vehicles on roads in the next 12 months collecting data, expanding their fleet by another 50% give or take, it seems evident right now that Tesla is really on the cusp. Just remember, it's been about 8 months since a complete rewrite here, and it's already as good as their old system, which was being trained for years. Tesla has more high quality data coming in at an ever increasing rate, and a huge amount of training compute has just gone online and much more to come throughout the next 12 months. If you can't read between the lines, the capabilities of this software are going to improve at a stunning rate. We're really on the cusp, ladies and gentlemen. At least in my uninformed opinion. After all, I am just some dickhead on YouTube who doesn't know anything about anything. That being said, still buying Tesla stock with every spare cent, and I'm not going to be one of those people a few years from now who regrets not buying more. During the discussion, Musk latched onto a key fact that the team had discovered. The neural network did not work well until it had been trained on at least 1 million video clips. This gave Tesla a big advantage over other car and AI companies. It had a fleet of almost 2 million Teslas around the world collecting video clips every day. FYI, that number's in excess of 4 million now. Maybe at the time this meeting took place, it was close to 2. And Shanghai alone has produced its 2 millionth vehicle. Just saying. Quote, "We are uniquely positioned to do this," Elaswamy said at the meeting. That's putting it lightly. 4 months later, the new system was ready to replace the old approach and became the basis of FSD V12, which Tesla plans to release as soon as regulators approve. There is one problem still to overcome. Human drivers, even the best, usually fudge traffic rules, and the new FSD by design imitates what humans do. For example, more than 95% of humans creep slowly through stop signs rather than coming to a complete stop. The chief of the National Highway Safety Board says the agency is currently studying whether that should be permissible for self-driving cars as well. The key takeaway from this article, folks, is the speed at which Tesla was able to go essentially down a completely different path, a fresh approach, by feeding in over 1 million clips of data that only Tesla has. This software, the neural networks were able to learn how to drive almost as well as human beings, and in some cases much better than human beings, in less than 1 year. That rate of progress is very important. Look into the future. If from a standing start, Tesla was able to get this capable with FSD V12 in under a year flat, just imagine what happens in the next 12 months, especially as Tesla's fleet continues to grow and more training compute comes online. And then again, consider, is it possible for any other company on the planet to start gathering as much data as Tesla is currently gathering, let alone already has? Answer is no. And I really do mean that. You have to think of truly absurd. I mean, just conjure up the most ridiculous scenarios imaginable to even conceive of ways that this would happen. There is no magic catch up the Tesla button. You really got to start scraping the bottom of the barrel to think, how could this possibly even take place? You would literally need, right now, close to 5 million vehicles on roads collecting data. And that wouldn't even catch up to Tesla's existing trove of clips that they already have over the last few years that they've collected. No automotive manufacturer has the fucking balls to start putting sensors on their own vehicles. And all of the large volume automotive manufacturers on Earth today, won't be that long before Tesla's number one, but all of the big ones, Toyota, Volkswagen, etc., are going away. They predominantly produce internal combustion engine vehicles. A few years from now, no one will be buying them. So even if you put the sensors on the ICE vehicles, those will disappear soon as well. And then the companies go bankrupt, and then Tesla becomes the world's largest vehicle manufacturer by volume, and then you literally can't compete. This is why I've been pointing out for a long time now, Tesla has an unassailable lead. I mean that. And ultimately, because they have an unassailable lead, they're going to have the safest autonomous software on the earth. At some point, if not already, automotive manufacturers will realize this and come crawling to Tesla begging to license FSD. At which point, Tesla will be happy to oblige, and they will start printing ridiculous amounts of money, and FSD licensing will become a huge, multi-deca billion-dollar profit stream, which is why it's been in my Tesla valuation model, available exclusively on Patreon to supporters at the investor level and above, since I first published it back in 2021. And no, I'm not going to stop harping on about this until it happens. I'm trying to warn everybody. It's kind of obvious, and people are going to regret not realizing that, in my opinion. But again, I'm just some idiot who doesn't know anything, so you should ignore everything I said. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.